This is Anne and Cam, and this is our little capsule.
The book of the week is The Gathering Blue.
And for those who doesn't like to read,
We are making a summary tonight.
okay, let's start.
We are going to speak the first nine chapters.
But they're important.
As I was telling you, we are going to talk about the book.
Okay, got it.
In chapter 10, Kira and Thomas make their way down into the crowd of shouting. Are we men preparing for the hunt? It is a place for men only, as they behave brutishly before every hunt. With much boasting and conflict, Thomas leads the way, and as they wave through the men, one of them grabs Kira. She tempts him off with her walking as they covering to find Matt.
Not that way. Okay, but then in chapter 11, okay, this is not going great. We should stop telling them the number of the chapter.
No, it's fine.
Sure.
Okay, without numbers.
Kyra arrives at Annabella's hut very early one morning. Out of bread and skirt, she is certain that a beast was sticking her as she walked through the woods. She could hear it growling at her just off the path and out of sight. Annabella can see that something is wrong and asks Kyra about it. But when Kyra speaks of beasts stalking her, Annabella dismisses the idea. She takes Kyra inside for some tea to help her calm down. Kyra wakes with the feeling that something is fundamentally different, but she cannot decide what has changed. There is something at the back of her mind, but it refuses to come forward. She decides to let it go, hoping that it will come back to her later. Kyra, Thomas, Matt, and Bridge walk downstairs and find the floor to be almost identical to one in which they live. A long corridor lined with closed wooden doors. They come to a corner, and Thomas stops suddenly, motioning for the others to remain quiet, and then soon they hear footsteps, and soon they hear Jameson knocking on one of the doors, hoping to wake up for the day lost to the storm. Kyra wakes early and
Prepares to visit Annabel. Just as she is about to enter the forest, one of her friends from the weaving shed, Marlena, calls her over to chat. Marlena tells Kira that she is missed around the shed, and that Matt has been doing a poor job as her replacement.
at midday of the day.
Of Annabella's death. Kira sees the men constructing a new den place for her near the edifice. It looks to be a much grander facility than Annabella ever had, and Kira mourns the loss of her friend and teacher. The men also bring all of Annabella's materials and future since Annabella died. In her sleep, there is no need to burn her home. Evening arrives and Kira and Thomas wait for the tenders to finish their daily duties before venturing downstairs to visit Joe. Kira takes her scrap of cloth and advises Thomas to bring his special carpet, wood, and his key, hoping that their objects will warn them if they are in danger. A new dawns, and at midday, Kira asks Thomas to accompany her to the fen in search of Joe's home. Kira wants to see the place that was home to Joe and is home to Matt. So, he is surprised by the request. Thomas agrees. They have not seen Matt in 2 days, and they are curious about his advance.
The time of the gathering is fast approaching, and the people of the village are beginning their preparations. Thomas has finished his work on the staff, and Kira has completed her work in the row. Kara asks her gold script for answers about Matt's whereabouts, but it gives her no answers, only comfort. She continues to visit Joe in the night, telling her jokes and stories. Joe tells Kara that when Joe is a singer, she hopes she will be able to make up her own songs again. On the day of the gathering, Kara is awakened by the muted sounds of the villagers covering on the council edifice to hear the strange song, usually loud and unruly. The people proceed solemnly and respectfully with their entire families. Kara and Thomas have been told to wait in their rooms until the tenders come for them, and they are soon led to places of honor on the stage in front of the entire village, still near the worship object.
The singer continues to read song for several hours, during which time Kyra's mind wanders and the reader learns that Kyra was secretary been teaching herself to read during her color review sessions with Thomas. She has told no one signs women are forbidden to read, but she takes secret pleasure and her literacy grows. As the Ring song finishes, the crowd rises and sings the final The Singer Arosunian, Amen so be it. The singer himself calls Joe to his side and he enthusiastically joins him for the final phrase to the crowd's thousand approval.
Kara immediately limps off to her room. Thomas, chasing after her, imploring her to tell him what is wrong, Kara prepares to share her terrible new revelation with Thomas. But when they arrive at Kyra's room, Matt meets them with his big gift. Christopher tells his tale to Kyra, begging with the day that he was reportedly carried off by priests. In the days when Katrina was still carrying Kyra in her womb, Christopher was a skilled hunter and respected within the village, with an appointment to the council pending. He had many jealous enemies who wanted his seat on the council, and on the day of the great hunt, a man attacked him from behind, clubbing, stumbling, and blinding him, leaving him for dead.
Kyra wakes the next morning before dawn and goes to her garden to tend the flowers that her father has brought her. She ponders many questions, realizing that her mother was most likely passionate in order to bring Kyra under the protection of the guardians. She assumes that the similar fates befell Thomas and Joe's parents, and in thinking of Joe, Kyra remembers the things that horribled her during the Ring song. I understood most of the book. I just had a little struggle when the gift was in Fine Forest. But it was so interesting reading it like the way author tells the story. The mode of the reading is so interesting. I love read more books like this one. It's so interesting.